For those who are experiencing Santi for the first time, he is a professional wrestler.
Yes, I am.
For how many years have you been a professional wrestler?
I've been wrestling for 22 years.
22 years.
Yeah, I started in 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get your start? Well, before how you got your start.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first experience with wrestling? Like as a fan, as a kid, like how did you discover professional wrestling?
When we were younger, we had cassette tapes. And around where I could remember is 89, my brother would put in WrestleMania 87 with Hogan versus Andre. And I would understand what was going on, but I wouldn't know what it is. Personally, I thought it was fake. That's why I grew up all my life. It's the F word. It's whatever. I don't care. And then I had a babysitter that was a wrestling fan, had books, Marlboro books, just writing in just matches. And I'm like, what are you doing there? Oh, because this match is over here. And I'm like, this. All right, Rain Man. Like, so he got me kind of into it. And then I slowly got into it more when I was a teenager. Around the Attitude Era, like everybody else. And I was hooked from there. Me and my parents, we just watched it like soap opera every Monday. Right. And then SmackDown happened. And then we watched SmackDown and Raw. And then you got Heat and, all that stuff. So
was there a difference between, I'm assuming it was like that new generation era, like the 80s that didn't hook you? Was there like a big difference between the two that got you between like the 80s and 90s?
Well, it was because I was younger. I was an infant watching, wrestling. I didn't really care for it until I got older. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. But now as a wrestler, a pro wrestler, I appreciate the past more. I watch the 70s and 80s constantly because sometimes what's old is new.
Right. Was there a specific wrestler or moment that hooked you into professional wrestling? It could be from any organization.
I was just flipping through the channels. I said, you know what? And just so happens at the right moment, at the right time, all the stars aligned. I saw Jeff Hardy flip off the cage onto his back on the mat. It was just a simple cage match. And that was it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? This looks like fun. How would he do something like that? After that, I started watching it more and more and more because of that. And then I got into WCW and then the wars. And little by little, if I did not click that pager at the same time, that guy was flipping off the cage, I don't think I'd be here today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Did you have any other hobbies as a kid that occupied your time?
I liked drawing cartoons and comic books.
Where did that come from?
I just liked it. I was always, because I used to be bullied when I was younger. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me draw me beating up my bullies. So I would do that. If I have a crush on a girl, and let me draw a comic book for her, stuff like that. And then I learned there was like kits of like Bruce Blitz showing you how to draw better comic book characters. And I would do that. And I was just advanced for my age, drawing and creating stuff out of paper or anything, just so it could pass time. That's how I would beat my boredom.
Sweet. How did you discover comic books?
Just my dad. My dad would be like, oh, that's the Incredible Hulk. He's supposed to be the strongest person in the world. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was a huge fan of Hulk when I was little. My kids growing up, they were Hulk fans. So
wow. That's awesome. It's funny because I laugh because I myself was huge, not to comics, but mangas. Do you know what mangas is? Okay.
Yeah, anime.
So yeah, for those that are not familiar, why aren't you familiar? But they're Japanese comic books, right? And I was a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. And instead of like having reading time in first grade, I would have like I would sneak a comic book. So everyone else was reading A Wrinkle in Time and stuff like that, and I was reading Dragon Ball Z manga as a reading time. But it's funny. I laugh because it's something about the kids that are creative. Because I myself would take those comics and draw it myself. Yeah. And I would take Goku versus Vegeta, Goku versus Piccolo. And I ended up becoming, the story. You see the connection that I'm going for. It's funny how kids who are creative ultimately, like, most of the time lean towards wrestling. They're able to suspend their disbelief. Yes. That's the connection I wanted to make.
I agree with you. Because I used to draw my own Godzilla comic books. Because I wanted to make my own destruction in the city, right? Then I would draw, I was infatuated with the eyes of anime style how nice it looked from Dragon Ball Z to Final Fantasy. How their eyes were very like, it was just, it was different from your average drawing. And I always try to master those kind of drawings also.
Right. You mentioned Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy 7?
7.
Oh, okay.
7 and maybe 9.
Where was your introduction into actually saying like, hey, I would love to try this myself?
I did the backyard wrestling stuff for quite some time. It lasted like 2 years. And then I also went into amateur wrestling in high school because I thought that would maybe be my introduction, because I know Kurt Angle did it.
A lot of
Brock Lesnar did
yeah.
it. So I'm like, you know what? I want to be like Brock Lesnar. I'm huge mark of Brock Lesnar. When he retired, I was like, anyways, so I just did amateur wrestling. I failed off the team. And then I asked the coach if I could still stay on to help out. So I could practice myself to have that, we did that. Then just one day it was me and my buddy, Michael Cruz. He was an amateur wrestler with me in high school. I was shy to call Johnny Rods because I knew there was a school in Brooklyn, but we didn't know where. It was in Dumbo. It was world famous Gleason's gym. And I was like, what do we do? I don't know what to do. He's like, we got his number. So, because we found it online. So Cruz called. And he was like, hello, mad loud, old Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And we're like, we all just looked at each other and he's like, yeah, we just want to know the rate. I don't know yet. You have to come in and we have to talk. Oh, okay. And that was it. I hung up.
And then from there,
I went with my dad and my cousin to go talk to Johnny Rods. And the rest is history. He told me I can't go in until I turn 17.
Gotcha.
And I have to make sure my grades are good. And we're talking, this was 2003 when I met Johnny Rods.
Right.
I joined in 2004.
Wow.
So I put all my pennies together. I worked for Taco Bell for $5.25 an hour.
Wow.
For $3,000 just to be a main member.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What was your first experience taking that first bump? What was that like? Your first bump?
I thought I ruined like $3,000 is $1 million to a kid that's 17 years old that, wanted it all. Once I took it and I felt the pain in my back. I was like, do I really want this now? I'm thinking about it. I was like, I'd just rather be your fan.
Yeah.
But now I'm here today. But it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt. It took the breath out of me. It made me think about life a little bit stronger. I'm like, all right, well, I spent this much money. Maybe this is just this now. And I'm here today. Yeah.
Sweet. So from taking your first bump to your first match, big step.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
I'm very good at emulating things. When I see it, I can do it. Especially physicality. When I see someone do it, I could do it, if not better, or I can make it as close as possible. So what I did was I just showed them week after week that I wanted it. From March, and then I think May 19th, Johnny was like, all right, we'll give you your first match, because I showed them I wanted it. And they put me in a battle royal that same year. And that was my first time in a ring in front of fans. I got my jaw dislocated in that match because the guy they put in there missed hitting me in the chest, it hit me in the mouth. And I always think about it like Daffy Duck when he gets shot in the face.
It's like turning around like that. Yeah.
It hit me so hard that I felt like my jaw was going around my face. And then I remember I couldn't close my mouth because of it. There is footage of me putting it back in place. I have footage of it. Yeah.
But
I could hear the crunching and everything. And just after that, it was normal.
Wow.
I went to the doctor that was outside and he's like, yeah, your jaw was dislocated.
You wrestlers are tough, man.
Sometimes.
Let me tell you. Like, had I been in a battle royal and a motherfucker came and kicked my fucking jaw off, that's it. I'm complaining to everybody. Everybody that,
But I looked at it always as the show must go on.
Right.
Regardless, if I'm hurt, the people were like, oh, it's not worth it. I was like, yeah, but you work around it. Of course it's not worth it. But there's somebody out there that's watching for you. Work around it. Unless the bone is coming out, you can see it clearly coming out of your skin, work around it. Right. So
it's something cool about, like, you wouldn't love this had you taken that injury and not came back at all. So you have your first match, it's in a battle royal. And then after that, you have this 20-year career.
Yes.
Can you tell me both highlights and lowlights that come to your mind? Anything like at the moment of the highlights of your career, lowlights, anything you would want to talk about of what it takes to be a wrestler of 20 years and the success you've seen and what you've learned from losses? Because I don't believe losses don't treat you to anything.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
You can still win losses.
Right.
So through the years, I was lucky to be around top WWE guys, always telling me, hey, just, do this, do it like this. Oh, here's a ref hack. Here's this, here's that. And I was just soaking it in. I write it down. And because I knew I was always big on sharing my knowledge with everybody that would come into Johnny's, because I guess I seasoned, and I know Johnny kind of like groomed me into being a coach, because even though new students would come in, he would be like, go with Santi. He knows what he's talking about in there. And I'd be only 3 years in. So I'm like, all right, I guess. And then, I see all the mistakes. I see everybody come in and out. Some people just, they wanted it part-time. Some people wanted full-time. Some people get injured. They don't come back. So you just see all these things. So I guess that's how I groomed myself into being a coach and a pro wrestler at the same time. But I was lucky to be around guys like Al Snow, going on trips with, Samoa Joe, going on, talking with Randy Orton's dad, Bob Orton. I just, anybody you could think of, I was always picking their brain. What were you doing in a situation like this? What if I got hurt here? But I'm always big on, even if my opponent don't know, I have an A, B, C, D, E, F, G plan in case it doesn't go as planned. Because I can't, expose the business. That's how I was raised. Coming into this, I was like, anyways, I would do the tryouts. My first WWE tryout was in Waterloo, Iowa. It was me and QT Marshall. I was in a rough patch, but he helped me out. And we wrestled each other. The match was amazing because they told us so. Then they made us do promos. And if anybody knows me, anyways, I learned a lot there, but I felt let down because I expected me to get a contract right away, because I knew that's how I came in. I didn't come in cocky. I came in confident, to the point where the expectation didn't match my confidence. So when I went back on the airplane back to New York, I'm like, oh, man, I gotta get better. So after that, I would go Ring of Honor, and I would kill it there in their tryouts, to the point where like, yo, you got to come every Wednesday and we train. So I would train with anybody that you see on Ring of Honor back in 2012 to 2014. All those guys I trained with, from Delirious, and Delirious taught me all the cool stuff and stuff. How to work with them, so I have all this knowledge of like TV style. Then I had this great indie style from Ring of Honor because of Delirious, and just them being like, you know what, we want to see her. So it would be, once again, me and QT will drive every Wednesday to go and learn how to wrestle like Ring of Honor style. Then I was persistent with emails at the same time. And I was like, you know what? It's a crapshoot. And one day I get a letter from talent relations from WWE saying that we're in the first tryouts. It's not the first, it wasn't their first tryout, but it's one of their main tryouts where they were banking on indie wrestlers.
Early 2010s.
2014.
Yeah.
So I was in there with Kevin Owens. I was in there with Roger Strong. And we were doing all the workouts. Gable was one of my coaches there. And I was going through all the rings. You would have to do 30 burpees in each ring, 3 rings. And the last one, I was struggling like 23. And Chad Gable was like, hey, you're one of us. You have kids? I was like, yeah. He was like, I was dying in there. He was like this. All right, well, do it for your kids and get the fuck up. I did the last like 8 like that in a heartbeat, because he just gave me that motivation. Because when you're fatigued, you don't think about anything but just trying to breathe. But then he gave me a purpose, and I just banged out the 8 more.
Sick.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That was fun, and also you could see sometimes they already know what they want before.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
of course.
Like, make sure that kid don't die on us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who signed now? So So after the tryouts, you'll get the A, B, C, D letters. So the A letter is a contract. The B letters, we love what you did for us. We respect you. Come back again sometime. And the C letters basically burn your boots. Like, you're done. So I waited till it was March 14th because we were all the coaches and all of us were making fun of the Malaysia flight being missing for some reason. That was around the same time. It was airplanes are just disappearing in the sky now. That was Damat's joke every time. What happened was I got the B letter. We respect you, just come back again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going back to college. So I was studying liberal arts, but then I changed it to property management.
Sweet.
And then I went to NYU later on for property management. I always like being under pressure in school because that's when I get work done. I learn the most. Or hey, tomorrow's it's due. I'm like, beautiful. Game on.
Right? Last
be up
minute,
like
12 o'clock.
Yeah. 3 o'clock in the morning, like,
Hell yeah. That's been my whole time in school.
yeah.
Something I learned about you. We're going to get into my first tryout with you and your coaching experience, right? But something I learned from you, from your students, or when you were telling us the story, was that you were a security guard at Full Gear for AEW in a segment between Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland. Can you tell me, like, how did you get that call and what, like, that whole scenario was like for you just being there?
Well, you send an email to AEW, let them know, hey, if there's extra work, I'm available. They'll hit you up saying, yes, yeah, come at this date. If you seek fit, there's tons of wrestlers out there just trying. So I got the call and I winded up going. And we had the last segment and Jerry Lynn was asking who could do a flip bump. No one wanted to raise their hand. I was like, I could do a flip bump. It's not a problem. And then MVP walked by everybody. He was like this, you all should learn a lesson from him. Because if anybody said anybody could bump or flip bump, you all should be raising your hand. And he walked away and he patted me on the back. All right, well, I guess I'm doing it. So I thought it was just a flip bump. I didn't know I had a whole segment with everybody. So, and I made it the most because I understand TV style wrestling. I understand payoffs. So Strickland, I talked to Strickland, I talked to Hangman, and that was it, Come into the ring, I have to act like I'm not getting punched in the face. Bam, got whacked. Fell off the ring. Came in, the whole thing was like, you know what? You want to punch me in the face, I'm going to grab you, and I get turned around, get lariat. Bam. A lot of blood that day. I had so much blood all over my body because it was just pits of blood on the mat. But that's basically it. They come to you, or you're an extra, okay, we need someone to do this. Can you do it? Some people can't, or some people are afraid to, or some people don't want to, because they look at extra work as like, it's going to be less than. It's going to make them less than as an indie wrestler, or they're going to look down on if they do get a contract.
And the funny thing is like that's how a lot of wrestlers find their start. You see the meme of like,
yes,
big superstar, world champion, find them in like 4 or 5 years ago was a security guard. And it's like this whole trend of security guards becoming signed to major wrestling corporations. So it's pretty interesting. That's sick. Something that you mentioned that I caught on to was that you said you understand TV wrestling. Yeah. Right? What is the difference between TV wrestling and independent wrestling?
All right, so I've learned this recently before. You got regional wrestling and national wrestling. National is what you see on TV that goes to other countries, other states, a whole, and then you got regional wrestling, which is just sometimes indie wrestling is only for that area. So TV style is more for people that, well, you got the views. Now you got streamers, right? So if you look at a camera, all right, that's, if you got 1 million eyes on that camera, that's it. If you get 10% coming to the next town, you're just filled the house. You know what I mean? So you're selling to that camera next week. That's why some wrestlers don't look at the crowd because they already got their, got their revenue. So that's what it is. For indie wrestling, you're selling your brand to them. And if they like it, they'll keep coming. And they'll, with your content on social media, they'll come to the next show that maybe 3 towns down or another state, slightly another state. I know some fans will come from New York to Jersey to see me. Some will come to New York to Connecticut to see me. I've known fans that will go from Rhode Island all the ways down to Jersey to see somebody wrestle. That's great. You know what I mean? Because that's much of an impact you're making yourself as an indie wrestler to some fans, and that's a good connection to have. But for TV style, you got the commentary selling for you. You got the brand within the company, so you're kind of a franchise within that company. So they're just selling you. You're selling sometimes it's not even about heel or babyface. It's about the style, right? So you're wrestling, let's say, someone like CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Who's the bad guy? Wait a second. Then,
it's not really a bad guy.
Fan favorites. Yeah. So now you got, I like his style versus I like his style. And that's what you're looking at now. Brands. He could say something a little quirky that would make the crayons boo. That will kind of establish him as, he's the
good guy that says bad things.
There you go. Like Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Every episode, you want him to make it every episode. But that guy was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He sucked at light. He was a dirtbag, but every episode, like, damn, like Tony's crazy. You wanted to see more of him getting out of slick ways, especially the mafia, so.
Right. In your bio on Instagram, it says kettlebell guy.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why are you deemed the kettlebell guy?
All right. So there's many kettlebell guys out there, but for kettlebell guys, I got kind of bored of just picking things up and putting them down.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can I do to get bigger? Or not even bigger. I'm getting older. What can I do to
work out better?
Out better, smarter, explosive.
Yeah.
And I just found my way into kettlebells.
Right.
Heavier, lighter. So I'm just throwing them around. And I just noticed, I was like, wait a second, I'm feeling faster in the ring. I'm feeling faster jogging. I'm feeling fit as a dad. Like I'm picking up my son faster and like went out like, oh, because of the wear and tears of wrestling and stunts. So it's like it just gets to you. And I just love the discipline of a kettlebell and how to swing it appropriately without hurting myself. And honestly, it helps with pro wrestling because sometimes you got to swing them up onto your shoulder. Sometimes you got to, and it does me well. It does me justice. I always post my workouts so there's people, especially the students, the Fallout Shelter, come and follow me, and they do the same workouts sometimes.
Students.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Santi is the head coach at Battle Club Pro Wrestling School, and it's called the Fallout Shelter.
Fallout Shelter.
How did you get to be the head coach there?
Oh, so I was retired from wrestling. I just, when I left wrestling, I was fucking done.
Yeah.
I was done. I was tired of the.
But it finds a way to pull you back in.
Just found me a way to pull me back in. 4 years later, I have a distant cousin from Coney Island, and he was like, "Hey, there's a school over here if you want to train with me." And I'm like, all right. I asked the people around me, I was like, "You think I should do it?" And I just did it. And I went and I saw how they were coaching, and it was good and stuff. And I kind of missed it a little bit, but I was like, it's there now.
Right.
But then like little by little, as I was driving home, I was like, it would be a sin to waste this knowledge.
Yeah.
And not give it back
right.
to the right people. I've given back tons of knowledge, and just they all come and go. That's all I have to say.
You always got to leave it better than the way you found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I talked to Joe Kim Morales, the owner of Battle Club Pro Fallout Shelter. And he was like, all right, well, I was like, if you want me to be a coach, like, I would love to be a coach for you guys. He's like, oh, our staff is full at the moment. I was all right, no problem. Like, I think a couple of weeks later, he's, hey, we got to talk to you. And then when I came in, you're a new coach for Battle Club Pro. And I was like, okay, let's get to work.
When do I start?
Yeah. And it was the same day.
Talking to you, I've realized this thing, right? Where I'll reach out to WWE, send them an email, nonstop emails. AEW's in town, gonna reach out to AEW.
Yeah.
We were talking about Stuntworks, which I'm gonna get into, but Stuntworks, I'm gonna send out emails until Marvel reaches to me. Battle Club Pro.
Yeah.
Emails. Where does this persistence come from? A lot of people aren't that confident. Why are you so confident in just reaching out and sending out the emails?
Because skills. Because, yeah, you can be talented, but if you have the skills, You know, sometimes the skills overcome your talent, right? You lack in certain areas. You know, I'm very skilled at what I do. You know, I'm very talented at what I do. But I know my skill basis will fit anything anybody wants me to do. So if they come to me, hey, you can do this, yeah, piece of cake. You know how to make this guy. This guy is 3 months in. Can you make him look good? I don't even say a word. Yes, I can, because I know my skill level. I can make that guy a monster, or I can make that guy freaking
Just get by,
a cruiserweight.
by. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just well rounded, and I'm very versatile in it. I'm the type of guy where if you want a brawl, you get a brawl out of me. If you want a hardcore match, I can do a hardcore match. If you want a high flying match, I can do a high flying match. You know, technical match, I get down and dirty like the rest of them. You know, so this is how I am. I just know my talent enough to be like, all right, let me send this email. If it comes back, and also I make friends.
Right.
I have friends in high places, and they know that if Santi's a part of it, they're going to get quality and quantity.
Right.
For the price of none.
Right.
And that's a good thing. And that's, you know, those are passion projects that hopefully one day will flip over to money.
Is a passion project of yours being able to do stunts from Marvel, like you were telling me? How did you?
It was all happenstance. Like I said, the universe is aligned. I didn't do one tryout. And then when I was bouncing at a bar one day, their staff came in and I just talked with them. And they was like, you just go to the next tryout. We'll help you out. So it happens that the directors there loved me that same day. And I was like, what do you think? He was like, yo, you didn't even need us. I was like, what do you mean? It's like we were vouching for you, but they were like, we don't care what you have to say. We like them already. And they hired me as Bruce Banner and the Lizard. And they gave me the contract that same day. But I had to hold off on it because I had to really go home and talk about it with everybody before and then when the emails came in 2 weeks later about here's the contract, I'm like, oh, this is real. What do I do? Like, you know, I left wrestling. Now I got its brother, you know, on my doorstep. And
Which a lot of wrestlers transition to.
this is around also the Infinity Wars days. So everybody.
Yeah, Marvel was everywhere.
And I'm like, damn, I have a chance to be an Avenger.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know, it would be cool if I could show my kids this. Like, Daddy did this. You know, and that's why I wanted to do it. Because I'm a wrestler, but then I was retired. So
you
I
had
had
the Hulk.
Now I'm the Hulk.
Yeah.
And I grew up idolizing
Loving
the
the Hulk.
My sons idolize the Hulk. So I'm like, all right, Daddy's Hulk.
Yeah.
And it always made me feel good that one day they know that Dad was the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, and
went to school like my dad is the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
he can beat up your dad.
I left wrestling and I'm like, you know what? I got that Al Bundy,
right?
You know, syndrome where I'm like, yo, back in the day I used to play football and all that stuff. Now I'm over here, a stuntman.
Right.
Learning from real stunt people. These people are worth millions of dollars. These people are still on the scene now. And from Cobra Kai to Daredevil getting beat up. So these are my boys. I see them all the time on TV and I'm like,
was there ever, with what you learned in doing stunts, was there ever like a perfect transition to wrestling, or like from wrestling to being a stuntman where you're like, a stuntman was like, oh, this hurts my back. It's like, hey, you should be bumping like this.
No, or, you don't break your falls in stunts.
Right. You
just got to hit the shit. You have to hit the floor like a normal person would if they fell. It's just stuntmen are different breeds of people. They have wrestlers have they have a high pain tolerance, but I feel like stuntmen don't have no pain tolerance because they hit the floor, they hit the concrete floor. We have padding at least, or in the cross beams give us a little shock. That padding, or not even. Sometimes they hit on the hardwood floor. It's also angles, how you flip to fall, hit your heels first and then fall back. You break your fall like that, so it looks devastating, but it's, you know, little stunt secret. But wrestling, you're trained to fall, you know, from any maneuvers. And stunts, it's its own monster. If anything, stunts made me a better wrestler, because especially with those shows with Marvel Universe Live, there were arena shows. And those arena shows translated to all those crowds. And my goal was always to perform for a crowd in the top row, because if they could see me, then everybody could see me. Even if what I'm doing is fabricated, because in pro wrestling, it has to be different. You know, sometimes you could touch on little things to make it better, kind of like comedy. Like, let me see this joke. All right. You cut off the fat of certain things, and then now you got this nice, big, juicy combination of fighting. Same thing with comedy. With stunts, it was just the same over and over and over again to the point where, you know what? I don't want to fall here. Let me just do it like this. And then I wind up hurting myself more if I just would have fell.
Yeah.
I hit my tailbone on a step one time. I was like, oh, I should have just did the flip.
It's something
I'm such an idiot.
It's something to say where when you try to take things easy, it always hurts later on the most. Yeah.
Yes.
What a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Dante came in. I want to take my first bump. I want to see what it is. What was your reaction seeing this 5'4" kid come in? Just be like, I want to take a bump.
I've seen it all.
Right.
So I'm used to it.
Right.
But my thing is, we have you and you're savvy with wrestling. So how did it feel? I'm just saying the reason I've seen it all, I've trained kids.
Right.
I've trained my son how to wrestle. I've done all, I've wrestled, I've trained people that were 4'11".
Yeah.
I've trained people that are 6'9", that are on the scene now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've been there with most of anybody, any creed, shape, size, color. So when I see someone like you, how did you feel?
It felt as I expected it to feel, and then some. And what I mean by that is I've watched countless DVDs and documentaries and like insider like YouTube about like when I took my first bump, I saw the stars in front of me. I knew it was gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Not for a single second did I think that that ring was gonna be forgiving.
Yeah.
I knew that shit was gonna hurt, and I was there for it. Did I expect to get my bell rung as I did?
Yeah,
no.
you feel it.
That is no joke. That is no joke. And what I will, you asked me the question after I took my bumps, and you looked at me like, did you find a whole new respect for professional wrestlers? And I kind of flipped the question. It's not that I found a whole new respect for them.
Yeah.
I have amplified my respect for them.
Yeah.
Because that is, you have to be a little insane in the best way possible.
Sorry, control.
Yeah.
My trainer always said you got to be beautiful and crazy to do this.
Beautiful. You have to be beautiful and crazy to do it, in the sense that you are purposely hurting yourself in a way, trying to keep yourself safe, but purposely hurting yourself. You're traveling, you make it to another state, you probably get there 3-4 o'clock in the morning. You got to wake up 11, 12, find a gym, take more bumps, travel to the next state, amplify my respect for professional wrestling. Sum it all up in a quick little wrap. It hurt. It hurt a lot. And those back bumps, I kept my neck up, hit the mat, and I still rung my bell. My head just felt like it ricocheted off like my skull.
That muscle's natural. It comes natural after that. It's all callous. You have two choices when you take your first bump. You take your first bump, you felt the bump and how your head hit, and then after that is just shitty bumps from there. Or you just take that knowledge and continue bumping on your back until you protect yourself.
I had one good one, and you were like, take another one. I was like, oh my god.
Because I don't like one-hit wonders.
No one-hit wonders.
No Vanilla Ice and my ring.
You ran another drill after that where it was like the students had to run, tackle, go for a cover.
Yes.
And you looked at me and I was filming. I thought I could get away with the filming. I was like, he's not going to ask me if I'm filming. And you looked at me and you said, you want to do this drill? It's like, no, I know. That is no joke.
Yeah.
Everything hurts.
It's all fun. It's not like a bed. No, it hurts. Sometimes you have to worry about the ring more than your opponent.
Yeah. Yeah. Between me and my friend Jordan.
Yeah.
Seeing him in that ring, and he's not a professional
natural.
fan. He's a natural athlete.
Yeah.
And I think that's because he's a dancer.
Okay.
He's big on dancing. He went in there and I was like, this guy, I can see him like debuting months later or a year later in his own match.
See him doing it also.
He was good.
He was. There's something about the milk in this generation coming up now that's like, all right, thank God. Because there's some generations like, oh, bro, just stay on the other side of the barricade, please.
We're spoiled for like the content that we have.
Yes.
So like now we can have part 1, 2, and 3 documentaries on YouTube where people are teaching you. So we're spoiled. I saw him and I was like, this guy, like I can see him in the ring.
Yeah.
Who do you think had more potential? Not to put us between. You could say Jordan, right? You could say Jordan's okay. Jordan, you had more potential. I answer for you.
I didn't say nothing.
What was something that I did that
I liked how natural you got it also. From the rolls to hitting the ropes to the bumps, even though you rung your bell, you still managed to land a nice bump. You know what I mean? Even with the suplex, you took it.
That was a nice way of saying, please stay on the other side of the ring.
You took it well, yeah. You took it well.
Jordan is a natural athlete.
Yeah, Jordan,
He's
very
sick.
natural athlete. You can see it in him.
I say that because there's a professional wrestler that, if you've been following, has been bullying me. Matthew Ennis.
Yeah.
Matthew Ennis.
I've been watching him.
One day I could find myself in Florida for a particular reason.
Partner.
Yeah.
Watching you, Michael.
Yeah. So Matthew, watching you, Matthew.
Sorry, Matthew.
It's okay. Saying his name gets me disgusted. I want to throw up in my mouth.
Yeah. Matthew,
Anus.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael. Michael was only reserved for
you
good
Michael
people.
now.
Yeah, Michael.
Offend you, Michael.
Anyway,
Matthew.
let's not even talk about him. He disgusts me. Do you have any wrestlers that you enjoyed wrestling, and then after that, who do you prefer to wrestle? Like, do you see anybody in the scenes?
Well, now that I'm a champion at Battle Club Pro, the franchise champion, my goal with the promoter Joaquin Morales, I wanted to touch on. I want to see how versatile I could go with people with brains in there, guys like Richard Holiday, Joey Janela, who I'm wrestling May 30th. There's other couple of names that we're working on and stuff, but one is Bear Bronson. There's a couple more because, I'm a ruffian. I could do all that stuff, but I just want to touch base with all the good guys that are on the scene now, because I go with the best of them. I know I can. That's how confident I am, and I'm safe about it. So, those are the guys that come to mind. A lot of OGs like Poland, and I would love to wrestle. I would love to touch base with a lot of people that you see on just past, present, and future, because I owe it to myself now. I could go with them. And the ones I've been with is, we always see you on the scene. Is just, I finally got to wrestle you, and bro,
Magic.
Where you been?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
right. I was just an email away. I had to find the email.
Life, and it helps, but yeah, they would tell me, like, I would love to wrestle you every day, because they know they're a good match out of me.
Anyone has your eye? Anyone you're like independent scene?
Right now,
or even
Joey Janela, I want to wrestle. Because I remember him coming up at the scene also. I don't want to act like that old man, but I remember young Joey Janela when he was coming up and stuff. And I don't have no problem, going toe to toe with him, because now he's like really well known. So let's go there. Let's see what he has. And what can we get away with for the crowd to see? He's known for his gore. He's also known for his fighting style, crashing through tables, hitting chairs. All right, let's see what you got against someone like me. All right, so
sweet. I, in closing, want to say you've made a childhood dream of mine come true, and you've been nothing but a blessing to me. The content I was able to film and edit and is seeing great numbers. I was able to take my first bump.
Yeah.
There's a couple content creator friends of mine that are like, dude, I would love to get into this, do this. You have been a blessing to me. I believe in good karma comes to those who do good for people, and I like to double it and give it to the next person. So I'm pushing it your way. Yeah, just wrap it around, throw it on.
Please, thank God for life.
Yeah.
People come and go.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah.
I just want to be right now working on myself, the best person I could be for myself, best person I could be for my kids. I want to work on just, even if I don't get anywhere with this, the recognition that I've put into this is for me, and what I put into this is for me is also, I want these people to be better than me. These people I teach, I need them to be better than me, because the goal is to let them know that once you leave here, oh wow, he's on TV, she's on TV. Who's the coach? Santi. Oh wow, I gotta go learn from Santi. Everybody says it. So
I want you to know that all of this is not for nothing, and it will go somewhere. And sometimes it's not where you assume to be. I didn't think I was gonna be doing media.
Yeah.
Here I am, and I work under one of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world. So
That's pretty badass.
so like,
I have all those books too.
yeah. So if you find something adjacent, I think whatever you find, you will be successful in.
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, George, Innercity, Santi. Thank you so much, big dog.
Thank you.